Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from some peculiar islands in Colombia, South America. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the happy birthday celebration. This is like it's a birthday party that I sort of manipulated you into all coming to.
Okay, happy birthday.
How are you, Kaustubha?
I'm happy that it's your birthday.
Well, a gang of us, not including you and Mara, have snuck away, and we went through a windy ride through some tropical mountains. I got a little car sick, truthfully. No, I didn't. I saw lots of papaya and lots of good fruit, but I got a little car sick on that road because I don't do good with windy roads. Mm-hmm. And then we got to this port, and we took one of these, probably a boat that should be going 10 miles per hour was going like 90 miles per hour. I kid you not. It was like, so like right after, and I was like in the boat, and Mara texted me like, how was your trip? And I was like, this would never be happening to Kaustubha right now. And then we went to this, I don't know, it's just like, we're in the jungle. I don't think you can even get here by car. And there's just like little villages in the jungle. And so we're in this, house that is not one of those container homes, but it looks like one. It looks like it's made of roofing material, like it was spot welded together. I think me and Rocco could probably build this house, but it's actually very, very cool. And it's right on this cliff overlooking the ocean. And today we're going to go in a little boat to one of the islands and look at waterfalls and kayak and swim. And that's how I'm going to do my birthday.
Sounds good.
Good. It's good. Good. Happy to be here on the show with everybody. I got a hat from Andrea from Pittsburgh. Gave me that hat. Thank you, Andrea. Look at Linda. She's got a whole happy birthday thing for me. Thank you, guys. Very sweet. So how are you?
As I said, I'm happy.
Thank you. Mara wrote me a nice
56 years old
birthday.
today.
56 years old. Not going to hide it. Going to flaunt it. Feeling good.
Getting old, Drago. Getting real old.
And you guys get to watch the sunrise right behind me. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was really good. Okay. All right. I got a letter to read for you, Kaustubha.
All right.
I got a letter for me to read. It's from my good friend. It's a near-death experience from my good friend Jai Madhavadas, a.k.a. Jai Mud, from mymomsnuts.com.
Okay.
That's where I get my CBD oil to help me sleep. After COVID, I can't sleep as well. But check out his story. He's a devotee from San Diego. He said, Pam Ho, that means please accept my obeisances. Dear Mara, Raghunath, and Kaustubha, my most recent near-death experience happened 15 years ago. Maybe he had more. But that doesn't make this one less credible because he's had multiple near-death experiences. He's a mystical guy. He says, I have no memories of the actual car crash. He was in a bad car crash. I lost my memory of that and after for a few months, as well as my memories in the past, except for my time living with the devotees. So he lost his memory after a car crash, but he remembers living with the devotees. Thank Krishna for that. I was driving a few people home after playing a show. He was in a band. I was driving way too fast and lost control of the car. The car spun across the freeway and hit the center divide backwards. Someone who I had just met left her body right there. Oh my gosh. And I was in a coma and aspirated. What does that mean, Mara? Aspirated right there.
Something to do with breath
Ventilated.
and air.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your trachea collapses. And you can't
Oh my
breathe.
gosh.
Yeah, and then they have to give you oxygen through your trachea.
Yeah, they have to put in oxygen through your trachea.
Okay. I had, he said some, all right. Anyway, the other two people in the cars were beaten up, but survived. My coma lasted just under a month. Anyway, it was a very serious coma. In this coma and most of my hospital stay for 5 months, most of my memories of it are incredibly blurry. But this one memory is so vivid, and I don't even remember my dreams. I'm one of these guys that doesn't remember my dreams. I know it happened early when I was in the ICU, 1 month. Wow. All I remember is I was flying above a forest, and I was following someone who was flying too. It was nighttime. Our bodies were glowing like fireflies. He was showing me all these doors on the ground. They looked like cellar doors. He said, pick a door. Oh my God, don't leave it up to me, firefly being. At one point in ICU, in a coma, everything stopped. I'm not too sure if I flatlined, but my body started to shut down. One door felt familiar to me, so I picked that one. I gradually woke up and could only blink for 1 month. I remember 2 signs in my room, blink once for yes, twice for no. Those months in the hospital are so foggy. I remember feeling my mind uploading like a computer coming back after crashing. But that memory is the only one, and it's extremely vivid. Those months in the okay. My rehabilitation has been slow over the last 15 years. Krishna was just trying to slow me down. When your computer crashes, sometimes some things don't come back. I'm grateful that I found my way back to the San Diego temple to make garlands and sweets for the deities with my fiance, Madhavi Priya. Your servant, Jai Madhava Das. MyMomsNuts.com. Thank you, Jai Mud. Glad you're back. There it is, Kaustubha. The firefly-like beings taking us over particular doors. Asking you, Kaustubha, pick a door.
Okay.
What do you think about that? It's true.
I don't know what to think about it. I don't know what it means.
True, man.
Okay.
It mean, I don't know. Maybe that's sort of our life. Our life is our life today. It's pick a door, Raghunath. Right? Isn't it? Isn't every day a day of options to evolve or devolve? They should have had a sign on the door, though. Don't pick this door. This is the dangerous door. You'll have lots of fun, but you're gonna pay for it.
Okay.
Pick the.
Did Mara have a letter to read?
I do have a letter. We got another letter.
Okay.
We got another letter from a listener down in Melbourne, Australia.
Who is this? Or is it?
His name is Steve Riley. Yeah, Steve Riley. He's an other.
Oh, Steve Riley. Yeah.
Yeah.
Regular other.
Yeah. So he said, I just wanted to tell you all a huge thank you and massive appreciation for everything that you do. My mother left her body last Sunday after lots of health battles over the years. And it came to me that during the last couple of years, I've begun to serve both of my parents and fully appreciate the fact that they both gave the incredible gift of life, which can never be fully repaid from a child. Honestly, before I stumbled across your show, I was in constant conflict with my parents and never able to find common ground with them. I must thank you all from the bottom of my heart that this was possible, almost certainly due to your influences. Even the way I've responded to her death has been a position of strength for the rest of my family. And now I'm using this as a teaching for others to also make sure that there's no unfinished business for them and their parents. And if there is, to rectify it as soon as it can be. Hare Krishna and many blessings.
Well, that was sweet.
Yeah, very nice.
That was very sweet. Good job.
Thank you for sending that, Steve Riley.
Yeah. How about a little birthday nugget, Kaustubha?
Okay. From?
Happy birthday. It's a catchy song, man. He did make millions of dollars off that song. I was like, man, this guy, they should discover him. He's really good. He's one of the biggest singers of all time. Okay, this is from This is from the Bhagavatam. It's a birthday nugget from the Bhagavatam itself.
Talking about Krishna's birthday.
Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 11, 18. Translation: Mother Yashoda further told Krishna, my dear son, because of playing all day, your body has become covered with dust and sand. Therefore, come back, take your bath, cleanse yourself, little boy. Today, the moon is conjoined with the auspicious star of your birth. Therefore, be pure and give cows in charity to the Brahmanas. So Kaustubha sent me this nugget. Sounds like you're trying to coax me to accept less
charity, do a little austerity.
Give a little charity, do a little austerity, fast from cake. Is this what you're saying, my friend? Is this where you're leading me? Let's hear what the purport is.
Okay, let's see what Prabhupada says. It doesn't matter what
It
I
is.
think.
It is the custom of Vedic culture that whenever there is an auspicious ceremony, like a birthday, one should give valuable cows in charity to the Brahmanas. Still?
That doesn't change. These are eternal instructions.
Eternal truth? I don't have a cow.
Well, you got to find a way to
get one and give it away.
Yeah.
Therefore, Mother Yashoda requested Krishna, instead of being enthusiastic in playing, now please come be enthusiastic in charity. This birthday's no fun anymore. Yagya dana tapa karma na tyajyam karya eva tat. As advised in Bhagavad Gita 18.5, sacrifice, charity, and austerity should never be given up. Yogyo danam tapaschaiva pavani manishinam. Even if one is very much advanced in spiritual life, one should not give up these three duties, right? To observe one's birthday ceremony, one should do something in terms of one of these three items: yagya, dana, or tapa. All of them together. Okay, I got to think of that. So yagya is our sacrifice. Dana is I got to give some offering, and tapa, some austerity. Okay. So the kayak thing would probably fall into austerity. No, sacrifice.
I don't think so.
Kayaking? No. Mara, did you just give me the face? Did you see that?
I didn't know.
Okay, like tapa. Okay, yug into dana, giving. All right.
You don't have to do all three.
Okay.
Just pick one.
No, there will be no coffee. That will be my tapa today.
Okay. Happy birthday.
Kaustubha is furious. Never takes this stuff seriously. All righty, my friend.
No, you really, you know what you should do, Raghunath? You should go to Govardhan Eco Village website.
Yeah.
And you should give a donation to the cows, that they'll feed the cows on your behalf.
Well, that's a good idea.
Or maybe Care for Cows Vrindavan. You know, that's another one. Vrindavan Food for Life, Care for Cows. And give a little dana, give a little donation to the cows.
That's a great idea. Great, auspicious way to start my year.
Yeah. You might not be able to give cows, but you can give 2 cows.
Very, very wise, very insightful, Kaustubha.
Will you do it?
Right. Will I do it? I'm definitely gonna think about that, Kaustubha.
Do it.
Definitely think about donating for the cows.
Okay. All right.
Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it.
There you go.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet.
Okay.
Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 3, Text 23. 23.
We got only 3 more verses left here for this chapter.
All right.
So this chapter has been a conversation between Lord Shiva and Sati. And you know what, Raghunath? I'm going to come out with something straight off the bat today. That
What?
I'm pretty sure we're going to get to a verse that just is kind of like the way that it's expressed in the translation. It's kind of like I don't know. It can ruffle our feathers. It can be harsh the way that it's worded, you know. And I think what we're seeing in this conversation right here. And anyway, we'll address that. But what we're seeing here is kind of like there's like a Shiva Shakti thing going on here, right? Like there's, in a sense, we could say a male perspective and a female perspective going back and forth.
Right. I understand.
Yeah, right. Like
You're saying
Shiva's
they're
coming
gonna
from an analytical point of view, and Sati's coming from like
an emotional,
empathetic point of view. You know,
Right.
it's like
So you're saying we live in an age where people are saying, no, we're just homogenized. We're all the same. And they were saying, no, there's actually some attributes, a male attribute and a female attribute, and it gets brought up, and it ruffles some people's feathers.
Well, and particularly what I think ruffles feathers is that Prabhupada, he was coming from a culture where that wasn't even a question. It was just
Right.
Like,
A culture, a generation.
Yeah,
and we're reading books that were translated 50 years ago and were written thousands of years ago.
And Prabhupada, you know, I always feel that this is really important because there's so much value and so much to gain in these texts. And if we allow ourselves to, I don't know, get turned off to them by what may be misunderstandings, then that'll be unfortunate. And Srila Prabhupada, he addresses this. You know, and it's a famous verse. It's the first canto, 5th chapter, text 11. And the verse reads like this. It says, and it's speaking about Bhagavatam, it says, on the other hand, that literature, the previous verse had described literature that people have no spiritual interest that they get into. And it's described that literature is like a place of pilgrimage for the crows. It's actually it's garbage, right?
Garbage. I guess garbage is a place of pilgrimage for crows.
Yeah. And but this verse reads, on the other hand, that literature, which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation, full of transcendental words, directed towards, this is real important, directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of the world's misdirected civilization. In other words, it's meant to turn around our bad karma, like the cycles of bad karma that we're caught in, you know, not only individually, but even, you know, on a broader civilization kind of level. Such transcendental literatures, and then this is interesting, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified people who are thoroughly honest. Okay. Now, in the commentary to that, addressing this idea of like even being imperfectly composed, Prabhupada writes this. He writes, we know, and we have to imagine, this is Srila Prabhupada's writing this in the early 60s in the Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, right? In like a kind of almost like a poverty-stricken, you know, bare room, right? But in a place that's like very deep in spirituality. And he's thinking about, he hasn't gone to the West yet, but he's thinking about going there, and he's thinking about serving his guru's mission to bring Bhakti-yoga to the Western world. And he writes, we know that our honest attempt to present this great literature conveying transcendental messages for reviving the God consciousness of the people in general and re-spiritualizing the world atmosphere is fraught with many difficulties. It's amazing that he was he was so confident that he would do it, you know?
Right.
And he says, our presenting this matter in adequate language, especially a foreign language, will certainly fail. And there will be so many literary discrepancies, despite our honest attempt to present it in a proper way. So he's saying, you know what? English isn't my first language, right? I'm trying to convey a lot here. You know, there's going to be a lot of philosophical content, a lot of social content, and so on. I'm going to do my
From
best.
a very orthodox culture.
Yeah,
He's about to step into like the free love of the 60s.
Right.
He's not even knowing what he's getting into.
Right. And so he says, but we are sure that with all our faults in this connection, the seriousness of the subject matter will be taken into consideration, and the leaders of society will accept this due to its being an honest attempt to glorify the Almighty. So he's saying, I'm sincere here in what I'm trying to do. I know I'm going to sometimes express things in ways that, you know, I may not have complete sensitivity to your culture, for instance, and I may use language and so on that I'm not understanding what it's triggering in you, right? But please try to understand the deeper message, and don't let that, you know, don't let that lacking on my behalf prevent you from understanding and accepting the important message that's here. So that's a few verses down the road. Let's wrap up this chapter between Shiva and Sati, and we'll get to the next chapter. Text
Right, now I'm eager to hear it.
All right.
I am always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva in pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness in which the personality of Godhead known as Vasudeva is revealed without any covering.
So that in the context of that statement was, again, he's saying, you know, when your father walked into that assembly and I didn't, like most everyone else in the room, didn't stand up and honor him, I was in a place of meditation at that moment, because that's where I'm at. And Shiva, you know, he's one of these people, like, you know, we can't all claim that, you know, but he can, you know, he's really on a whole nother level. And so he was explaining to her that I didn't intentionally disrespect your father, but your father really went off, you know, and very intentionally went after me. He really has serious problems with me. So if you go to his ceremony like your heart desires right now, I have a feeling that this is going to end disastrous. And, you know, and this is his analytical viewpoint, right? I can line this all up. I can see where this is headed. I'm trying to help you, right now from the place of a heart, you want to go see your family, right? From the place of a head, I'm telling you, it's not going to work out well.
I mean, Shiva's sitting there, he's breathing, he's meditating, he's very renounced, he's very sharp. Like whenever any of us have done that type of behavior, fasting or meditating, analyzing, and she's wants to go to a party. She's in her emotional, excited. Let's go. Come on, get dressed. Right. My family's there. It's going to be good.
Right.
I think I'm more like Sati and you're more like Shiva. You and I are Shiva Shakti.
Maybe a little bit. Well, you know, that's part of what I want to share today, is that like both men and women possess male and female tendencies or characteristics, right? And
some more and some less.
We all balance them in different ways.
Yeah. Okay.
Text 24.
Therefore, you should. I just skipped it. I already forwarded it. Right.
Yeah.
Therefore, you should not see your father, although he is the giver of your body. Right, like that email just said. Give him your body, although he is the giver of your body, because he and his followers are envious of me. Because of his envy, O most worshipful one, he has insulted me with cruel words, although I am innocent.
So, you know, you just notice the sensitivity here too. In one sense, he's instructing her, but in another sense, he's sensitive enough to say, "Oh, worshipful one." You know, it's like he's glorifying her at the same time. He's trying to say, I'm not talking down to you here, but I'm seeing things from another perspective that's worth your considering right now. Okay.
So text 25. If in spite of this instruction, you decide to go, neglecting my words, the future will not be good for you. You are most respectable, and when you are insulted by your relative, this insult will immediately be equal to death.
That's an ominous verse right there.
Yeah.
If this were a film, like some heavy, dark kind of music. Yes. Okay, that's the end of that chapter. Right?
We did
now
it.
We move
Chapter
on to,
4.
we're moving along in the fourth canto quite rapidly here.
Yeah. Sati quits her body. So again, there's that British word for leaving, right? You quit your home. We don't say that in America. I'm going to quit home now. Bye.
Quit home. What do you mean quit home? Like
You can't quit
never
home.
coming back?
Quitting it. I quit. You can't quit. You're fired.
You're fired from home.
I'm going to fire my body.
Okay.
Actually, she did that too. Okay. Anyway, let's go. Sati quits her body. Text 1. The sage Maitreya said, Lord Shiva was silent after speaking to Sati, seeing her between decisions, like she couldn't choose. Sati was very much anxious to see her relatives at her father's house, but at the same time, she was afraid of Lord Shiva's warning. Right? She trusted him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Her mind unsettled, she moved in and out of the room as a swing moves this way and that. Text 2.
Going back and forth.
I don't know what to do. Yeah. She was saying just stay put. Sati felt very sorry at being forbidden to go see her relatives at her father's house, and due to affection for them, tears fell from her eyes. Shaking and very much afflicted, she looked at her uncommon husband, right? He's quite uncommon, Lord Shiva, as if she were going to blast him with her vision. So she's angry. She's hurt.
Yeah.
Therefore, Sati left her husband. Lord Shiva, who had given her half his body due to affection. Breathing very heavily because of her anger and bereavement, she went to the house of her father. This less intelligent act was due to her being a weak woman. Oh, this is the verse.
That's the phrase that I'm speaking about. In other words, due to being a weak woman. It sounds like
she's emotionally attached, and therefore she went even against better judgment.
Yeah, and you know, the term used here in Sanskrit is strina vimudha. Like Stri means woman, and vimudha means, you could say, bewildered or deluded. And so literally the phrase used in the verse is that she was deluded by her womanly nature. You could translate it like that, right? She was deluded by her womanly nature. Now that sounds like, okay, that's what a horrible thing to say. You know that anything womanly confuses you, and you know they're stupid or something like that. The way that I understand, if you ask me, how do you understand that, Kaustubha? You're invested in this, and you feel you've gained a lot from this book and from this culture and from this philosophy and so on. Does this phrase bother you? Well, honestly, when I read the way it was translated, I go back to the purport that I just read. We're probably saying, you know what, I'm trying to share this sincerely. I may express things in a way that may ruffle your feathers due to cultural differences and so on. But when I read that, when I just kind of like read it as it is, that she was deluded by her womanly nature, I get that. One can also be deluded by their male nature, and we're going to read about that actually just a few verses down.
We shouldn't let them be trip lines of us moving forward.
That's exactly my point.
It happened to me, truthfully, for a few years like that. I'd hear something like that and say, yeah. But for me, there were reasons not to like give up my attachments. And, I'd like to, this is a great time to quote one of the previous masters. What was her name? Srimati Cindy
Cindy Lauper.
Cindy Lauper Maharani. Girls just want to have fun.
Okay. Where are you going?
She wanted to go to the party. She wanted to go to the party.
Okay. Right. Okay. So actually, if anything, that's the more abrasive statement. But my point being, right? There's a.
Sorry about that.
Okay. My point is this. I feel like biologically, you look at men and women, there's different, hormonally they're different, structures in the brain are different, and so on, and it affects the way that we perceive things and the way that we respond to things. And there is no problem with that. It's not that one is better than the other. They both have advantages and disadvantages. They both can be applied in different ways. And when they learn to work together, it's really powerful. So this verse is saying that she was deluded by her womanly nature. In this moment, she chose to kind of be ruled by, or became ruled by, her, let's say, more emotional rather than analytic side. And when I say emotional, I don't say that like I'm not saying that in a way that's like minimizing it. It's like empathy, and emotional intelligence.
These are good qualities.
Is like a very important, ingredient in a healthy society. It's like, it's very much needed. It's very important. It's no less important than the more analytical side. And it's not that women, it's not that, some women possess that more. Some women are more analytic, and some men have greater empathy and a less analytical side to them.
And it's really just some karma that we have. And then we have it for a page in an encyclopedia of our existence. We're not a body anyway. We're not males. We're not women. We're not white males or black males or Asian males. We're spirit souls. You get a particular vehicle for a few days only, and then you switch it to another one.
That's right.
It's not condemning. We're not this body whatsoever. Okay. And so we just have some karma. And, and like you said, some women will be farther on a spectrum. Some men will be very emotional and less analytical. It's just some karmic bag we're driving around in for a few days.
And now what's going to happen as the story continues is that as Sati goes to this event, we're going to find that amongst the followers of Daksha, they become deluded by their male analytical side. They become deluded by their male nature, and it leads to absolute disaster. I mean, like, if they could have been more in touch, actually, we're going to see that the women there, that actually their empathetic nature was the appropriate response. It was a response that would have prevented disaster. And the men couldn't catch on to that, and it led to disaster. So, both sides are valuable, and both sides we can become deluded by our empathetic side. We can become deluded by our analytical side.
Very good
men
point.
And women both possess both, but Bhagavatam is defining one as female and one as male. And that's all. Okay.
Cyndi Lauper. Text 4.
Yes.
When they saw Sati leaving alone very rapidly, thousands of Lord Shiva's disciples, headed by Maniman and Mada, quickly followed her with his bull Nandi in front and accompanied by the Yakshas. So the Yakshas are these sort of monstrous beings, I think, right? They're buddies with the Rakshasas.
Can you imagine what this... I would love to see a painting of this.
This posse. First they have this beautiful, beautiful queen coming, and all of a sudden...
She must be riding on Nandi, this incredibly, majestic bull, right?
Imagine if you're having a party and this crew shows up at your house.
Thousands of them.
Thousands of them.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, it's going down.
And it tells more. Text 5.
Text 5. The disciples of Lord Shiva arranged for Sati to be seated on the back of a bull and gave her the bird, which was her pet. Oh, she had a bird pet.
Like Shyam Sundari.
Yeah. They bore a lotus flower, a mirror, and all such paraphernalia for her enjoyment, and covered her with a great canopy, followed by a singing party with drums, conch shells, and bugles. The entire procession was as pompous as a royal parade.
Okay. It's a pompous event here.
Then she reached her father's house, where the sacrifice was being performed, and entered the arena where everyone was chanting the Vedic hymns. The great sages, brahmanas, and demigods were all assembled there, and there were many sacrificial animals. Ooh.
Oh, that's the other thing. There's another thing in the verses that we're going to read. There's not only women's rights, there's animal rights. We got to talk about that too.
Okay. As well as pots made of clay, stone, gold, grass, and skin. You got a skinned animal. I hope it's an animal.
Most animals also die of their own, and then they use the skins. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they do that. Which were all requisite for the sacrifice. So these were things that you needed.
Yeah, Prabhupada goes on in great detail in this commentary to say that another significant point in this verse is that there were animals for sacrifice. That these animals were meant for sacrifice does not mean that they were meant to be killed. The great sages and realized souls assembled were performing yagnas, and the realization was tested, or proved by the animal sacrifice, just as in modern science tests are made on animals to determine the effectiveness of the particular medicine, which is not a nice thing.
Which is also, we're not
Something that we approve
glorifying
of.
that either.
But the point was, the idea was this, is that you would see the animal go into the fire in an old body and it would come out in a new body. And so
I want to see it. I want to see that.
I would love to
I'd
see
love
that
to.
too.
I would love to see that.
So it was not that the animals were being killed, but the animals were being rejuvenated. And when one sees that, we know that it increases everyone's faith in the
And
power of
it's
the
forbidden in
sacrifice.
this age because they say that Brahmanas can't do it anymore.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we cleared that one up.
Clear.
Apologize for that one too. Okay. Now this next verse is interesting, though. This gets to what I was just speaking about before.
When Sati with her followers reached the arena, because all the people assembled were afraid of Daksha, none of them received her well. No one welcomed her but her mother and sisters, who, with tears in their eyes and with glad faces, welcomed her and talked with her very pleasingly.
Okay. So Sati's mother, Sati's sisters, they were not deluded by male energy here, right? Whereas like Daksha and his followers were. Here's his daughter. She's actually faultless, right? Her husband is actually a great soul, and she knows it. She can recognize it. He can't, because he's bewildered and deluded by his male ego, you could say. And all his followers are so weak, in a sense, that they're following his bad example. But the women, their feminine nature is actually so positive here that they're actually responding in a way that's not only like kind and sweet, but actually it is the response that would have averted disaster in this case. And this is what Prabhupada writes. He says, the mother and sisters of Sati could not follow the others who did not receive Sati very well. Due to natural affection, they immediately embraced her with tears in their eyes and with loving feelings. This shows that women as a class are very soft-hearted. Their natural affection and love cannot be checked by artificial means. Although the men present were very learned brahmanas and demigods, they were afraid of their superior Daksha. And because they knew that their welcoming Sati would displease him, although in their minds they wanted to receive her, they could not do so. Women are naturally soft-hearted, but men are sometimes very hard-hearted. Now, men aren't always hard-hearted, right?
Now I'm going to get a little angry about this now.
Men can be soft-hearted too, but it's just saying, it's just describing. There's a general due to hormones, biologically, the woman's body tends to lead towards softer, kinder, more loving emotions, and men tend to be more analytic and more hard and can be more hard-hearted. But either way, men can be very soft-hearted, women can be very analytic, either way. But in this case, it was like that, and it's playing out that way very clearly here. Okay.
All right.
It's about to get scary. It's about to.
It's about to go down.
This is like everything's about to go down.
This is going to be a YouTube fail video.
Big time.
Okay.
Okay.
Although she was received by her sisters and mothers, she did not reply to their words of reception. And although she was offered a seat and presents, she did not accept anything. For her father neither talked with her nor welcomed her by asking about her welfare. So she's a little offended here. She's a little hurt.
It was very cold.
Very cold. Like no one's talking to her. She's getting the cold shoulder.
Well, her father's not, right? And that's what
no, but
really,
everybody else, all of her father's followers are scared to talk to her.
And them as well, although her mother and
so
sisters.
just her sisters. But she's feeling the tension.
Mm-hmm.
Present in the arena of the sacrifice, Sati saw that there were no oblations for her husband, right? Whenever you have a sacrifice, Lord Shiva gets oblations, period. And there's none at this particular sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Next, she realized that not only her father failed to invite Lord Shiva, but when he saw Lord Shiva's exalted wife, Daksha did not receive her either. Thus, she became greatly angry, so much so that she looked at her father as if she were going to burn him with her eyes. That's an expression you hear a lot, getting burned with their eyes. Mm-hmm. That was a thing. You could burn somebody with your eyes. It was a thing.
Yeah.
The followers of Lord Shiva, the ghosts, were ready to injure or kill Daksha, but Sati stopped them by her order. She was very angry and sorrowful, and in that mood, she began to condemn the process of sacrificial fruitive activities and persons who are very proud of such unnecessary and troublesome sacrifices. She especially condemned her father, speaking against him in the presence of all.
Why don't we read the commentary to this? Because this is also showing that the daughter here, she had a deeper spiritual understanding than her father, right? She's saying, you guys, Shiva is on a far deeper spiritual level, and you're all caught up in this technicality, and really you're just stuck on this materialistic. You're stuck in a materialistic, quote unquote, religious viewpoint. You're not seeing things very deeply at all. Want to read the purport?
Sure. Just moving my camera around because the light is behind me now. Okay. The process of offering sacrifices is especially meant to satisfy Vishnu, who is called Yagyesha, because he is the enjoyer of the fruits of sacrifices. In the Bhagavad Gita 5:29 also confirms this fact. The Lord says, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. He is the actual beneficiary of all sacrifices. Not knowing this fact, less intelligent men offer sacrifices for some material benefit. To derive personal material benefits for sense gratification is the reason persons like Daksha and his followers perform sacrifices. Such sacrifices are condemned here as a labor of love without actual profit. This is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. One may prosecute the Vedic injunctions of offering sacrifices and other fruitive activities, but if by such activities one does not develop attraction to Vishnu, they are Shrama Evahi Kevalam, useless labor. One who has developed love for Vishnu must develop love and respect for Vishnu's devotees. Lord Shiva is considered the foremost personality amongst the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu.
Yeah.
Thus, when Sati saw that her father was performing great sacrifices, but had no respect for the great devotee, Lord Shiva, she was angry. This is fitting. When Vishnu or a Vaishnav is insulted, one should be angry. There you go.
The other day, right?
Yeah. There's an appropriate time for anger, right?
So
when a Vaishnav or Vishnu is insulted.
Okay, so Sati got it that, like, my father, he's big and he's respected and he's like kind of like a high level person in society and in his religious community, but really, although he's getting all this respect and accolades for this, he's really not very deep spiritually. And in this whole ceremony, is showing that, and the fact that they're not honoring someone like Lord Shiva just shows the shallowness of the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah, there's something to be said about people who are very religious, but they're missing the essence.
Right.
And this is why I love the Bhagavatam. It dives into the essence. Should I continue? You're going to give an analogy of Lord Chaitanya.
No, I think read text 11.
Oh, okay. Text 11. The blessed goddess Sati said, Lord Shiva is the most beloved of all living entities. He has no rival. No one is very dear to him, and no one is his enemy. No one but you could be envious of such a universal being who is free from all enmity.
This is really good. When it says he has that no one's dear to him, and no one's his enemy, it means, in other words, he doesn't judge someone. He's non-judgmental, right? It's not like the people from this country are special to me and not from that country. The people born in my family are special. It's like
he's partial to all.
He's impartial.
Impartial to all, I mean.
Yeah.
Impartial to all. Okay.
Well, if you're partial to all,
I guess that's the same as being impartial.
Yeah, right.
Twice born Daksha, right? So he's from a Brahmin family. Twice born Daksha, a man like you can simply find fault in the qualities of others. Lord Shiva.
This is key.
Lord Shiva, however, not only finds no faults with others, here we go, qualities, but if someone has a little good quality, he magnifies it greatly. This is the sign of a Vaishnava, isn't it, Kaustubha? Really Someone has a little good quality, they notice it, and they inflate the good qualities instead of highlighting someone's bad qualities. That's a big takeaway, Mara. A big takeaway. Vaishnavas find good and highlight it. And a materialistic person finds fault and highlights that.
This is one of the key lessons in this entire thing. And just picture, like, imagine like this were a film, right? And we saw the conversation between Shiva and Sati. And then we saw Sati, torn between what to do. And then she decides, I'm going anyway. And as she starts to go, thousands of these really far out characters, but there are films like this, right? There's some, I'm trying to think of
Star Wars.
Yeah, was it? I've never seen Star Wars.
Room.
That's what I was thinking. I've heard about that. Yeah. So all these far out characters start coming, and she's on this majestic bull, and they have a canopy over her, and they're moving toward. And you could imagine like the music now. And she arrives, and she's treated her father. You can imagine the camera like focusing on his face and how cold he responds. And then it kind of just frames this entire moment right now where she's speaking. And now this is where Bhagavatam does, it frames certain instructions. And now she's speaking, and she's got, her eyes are red with anger, and she's telling truth to power, right? It's like Daksha is powerful. He's intimidated everyone, but he's shallow, And now she's speaking her truth to power. What is she saying? These really important instructions that we can use, we can apply in our life to understand what it means to be deep spiritually. And this is the point she makes. Father, you may be all respected by so many people, but you find faults in people that are glorious. What is with that? Whereas Shiva, the person that you're judging, he's the exact opposite. Not only does he not see the fault, even if he sees some very small quality, very small good quality, he magnifies it greatly. And this is the nature of someone that's deeply spiritual. You don't get it.
So well put. He finishes off by saying, unfortunately, you have found fault with such a great soul. It's interesting, Kaustubha. It's like, I use the analogy like this. When we're little, you might play poker with your friends, with your brother, and you play for pennies. Like, I won 5 pennies. Woo! Oh, I won now. I got 10 pennies. I got your 5, and I got 5 more.
Yes.
Then you go to Vegas, and you play with $5,000 chips, $3,000 chips, $1,000 chips, 20,000. And when you lose big in Vegas. You don't lose 10 pennies, or you're not in Vegas. When we take our sarcasm, our snarkiness, our fault finding, and then we drag those bad qualities into sacred circles, we create havoc in our spiritual life.
Because you're playing with the higher chips.
You're playing with higher chips, because everybody who's making a step towards Krishna is dear to Krishna. And of course, because they're not purified, and we're not purified, we understand, okay, you like Krishna, but they're not stroking my ego how I like it to be stroked. And therefore, I find offense with him. And what do? I go right back to my behavior of finding fault, criticizing, being smarky, putting down, right?
But now you're in Vegas.
But now I'm in Vegas, because now these people have become dear. And we see this happen with people who've been practicing bhakti for a long time. They forget this highest principle, which is never offend people who are in a sacred circle. Never offend people who are walking towards God. Because, first of all, it's a smokescreen for our own faults. Generally, it has something to do with my own ego, but it is catastrophic. And it's not because... and it's not because the devotees, suppose I offend Mara. I just say, I'm sick of her just looking at me like that. Why does she always make that sarcastic look whenever I tell a dumb joke? And then I realize, I got to stop this. I got to go apologize to Mara, because that's the way to undo it. That's the way to undo the fault. I go to Mara. Mara, please forgive me. It was completely inappropriate. You rolled your eyebrows, or you rolled your eyes, and I was hurt. But I'm sorry. I shouldn't have called you that or said something bad about you. But Mara's initial reaction will be like, oh, Prabhu, I take no offense. Because Vaishnavas don't take offense. That's the flip side of it. We don't take offense. People can offend us. We're not going to take offense. We're not thin-skinned. We fully believe nobody can hurt me. That's a powerful statement. Nobody can hurt me unless I allow them to hurt me. But on the other side, Lord Vishnu, he is incredibly hurt if I hurt Mara's feelings. Why? Because Mara's taken a major steps towards her spiritual life, and therefore Lord Vishnu won't tolerate it, and he'll extract me. He'll extract me from the sacred circle. And so it's really important on our spiritual path. We don't take offenses. We learn, and then when we want to strike back with spite or revenge or with anger, we go to that person, right? It is said that when a devotee walks in the room, you should be happy to see them. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't be like, oh, not this guy.
Something's
not
wrong in
this
the heart
guy.
If you're not.
Red flags should go up. I've got a crooked mind. I should train myself to see greatness in people, not their shortcomings.
Don't take offense. Don't make offense. How's that for a t-shirt?
Oh, I like that. I'd wear
offense,
that.
Don't make offense. You want to read the commentary here?
Sure. King Daksha is addressed here by his daughter Sati as Dvija, twice born. Twice born refers to a higher class of men, namely the Brahmanas. Could be women, of course. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. In other words, Dvija is not an ordinary man, but one who has studied the Vedic literature from a spiritual master and can discriminate between good and bad. Therefore, it is supposed that he understands logic and philosophy. Sati, Daksha's daughter, put before him some sound arguments. There are some highly qualified persons who accept only the good qualities of others. Just as a bee is always interested in the honey in the flower and does not consider the thorns and the color, highly qualified persons who are uncommon accept only the good qualities of others, not considering their bad qualities. Whereas the common man can judge what are good qualities and what are bad qualities. This is a great statement, huh?
Yeah, there's common, and then there's this
extraordinary people.
Yeah, extraordinary.
Yeah, and we are in training to become highly qualified people that see good and accentuate it, magnify it, and overlook their shortcomings. And you know why this is so real to me? That's what my teachers have done to me in my life. They saw, okay, here comes this punk dude. Let's give this person some mercy. And they spoon-fed me bhakti. And then me being belligerent, loud, rude, uncultured, they tolerated it. They tolerated it and just still spoon-fed me bhakti. And slowly by slowly, the bad qualities start to fade away. But, we're in the process of getting sanded down. I'm still unruly, brash, rude. I'm working on it.
You're good.
But
I see nothing but good in you, Raghu. And
that's because you're an uncommon man.
Well, let's read more about these uncommonly good souls.
Okay. Among the uncommonly good souls, there are still gradations. And the best good soul is one who accepts an insignificant asset of a person and magnifies that as a good quality. This is Raghunath Swami all over. Lord Shiva is also called Asutosh, which refers to one who is satisfied very easily and who offers to any person the highest level of benediction. For example, once a devotee of Lord Shiva wanted the benediction that whenever he touched someone on the head, I love the story, that person's head would at once be separated from his trunk meaning neck, or his torso, I guess. Lord Shiva agreed. So it was a yogi who did all this tapas. And then when he said, and Lord Shiva appeared to him, said, I'll give you whatever you want. He said, really? Whatever I want? Yeah, whatever you want. Okay, what do you want? I want that whenever I touch someone's head, that head blows up. And Lord Shiva's like, that's what you want? That's what you're going to use all your yogic powers for? Come on, I can give you whatever you want. Yeah, that's what I want. Touch their head, it'll blow up. It's a great story. Thus, Lord Shiva, okay. Although the benediction he asked for was not very commendable because the devotee wanted to kill his enemy, Lord Shiva considered the devotee's good quality in worshiping and satisfying him and granted the benediction. Thus, Lord Shiva accepted his bad qualities as magnificently good qualities. But Sati accused her father, you are just the opposite. Although Lord Shiva had so many good qualities and no bad qualities at all, you have accepted him as bad and found fault with him. Because of your accepting his good qualities to be bad, instead of your becoming the most exalted soul, you have become the most fallen soul. A man becomes the greatest soul by accepting the goodness of others' qualities, but by unnecessarily considering others' good qualities to be bad, you have become the lowest of the fallen souls. You know, when a person has a lot of hate in their heart, Kaustubha, when a person has a lot of hate in their heart and they hate you, no matter what you do, they'll say, oh, see, he's doing that again. No matter what you do, it's just part of being hateful. We're trying to undo that. It's like getting gum on your shoe. You know, you could just your gum. It's just like gum in your hair. It's hard to get out. That we're in the process of getting the gum out of our hair. That gum of hate. Take the gum of hate out of your hair.
You see, little Karuna here says, one time I was standing in a game and a person hit me with his head by accident, but although it hurt me, I forgave him. And he said sorry many, many times.
You know why? Because she's got the gum of hate out of her hair.
That's right. There's no gum of hate in her hair.
That's a song. Hey, we're gum of hate.
In your hair. This one's called In Your Hair.
Gum of hate from Harrisburg.
But this is a key important, Bhagavatam is highlighting. You know, all of the drama is highlighting the point, the message, right? There's more drama is going to come. You know, all hell is about to break loose. But all of the drama is setting up these important messages. And here Sati, speaking truth to power, shares this most essential message that deeply spiritual people see the good in others and magnify it. And people that have issues, even they may be highly respected in society, even within religious circles, if they have the tendency to see fault rather than good, then they're not very deep.
That was a great way to wind up the show, brother.
Okay. And Mara, do we have any takeaways on this whole
we have
auspicious day?
You're gonna lead with gum of hate.
No, I was gonna lead with wishing you a happy birthday, Raghu.
Aw, come on.
All right. Be enthusiastic in charity on your birthday. Bhagavatam is meant to turn around our cycle of bad karma. We can be deluded by our empathetic side or by our analytical side. Seek out the essence. A Vaishnav highlights one's good qualities. Don't be a fault finder. Don't drag your bad qualities into sacred circles.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Criticizing great souls is like losing big in Vegas.
Let's lose.
Never offend those who are walking towards God. Don't take offense. Don't make offense.
That was me right there, Raghu.
Unless you need a fence.
Okay.
Trade yourself to see the good in others and overlook shortcomings. And take the gum of hate out of your hair.
Oh, the gum of hate. I think it's more of a song, the gum of hate.
Okay.
The gum of hate. No. Thanks to everybody joining on the birthday show. No, it's really true. If you really have your birthday like it's all about me, you set yourself up to let yourself down. So I gotta serve this posse that I'm with today, and serve the cows, serve Kaustubha and Mara, and thank you for letting me serve you guys today.
Thank you, Robert. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I wish you guys were here today, but I understand the deal. And we're getting ready. Tomorrow we head back from this little excursion, and we're going to welcome everybody for the Wisdom of the Sages retreat. Is anybody showing up today, Kaustubha?
I don't know.
He's like, I don't know. I'm not in charge of this.
Yeah.
I'm sure people are showing up today. Or, anyway. So we're going to be going live again. We're going to try to do this week. Did we decide what time we're going to do it this week, Mara?
I think we're keeping it at 6 a.m. and then we'll do 8 a.m. on the weekends.
All right. Well, let's do that. Thanks for joining us. Join us on Zoom, all you others out there. It's fun. And you just got to get the codes from Mara, and we keep them with a code to get in. You can't just go on Zoom and get in. You got to get a secret code. You want that code? You deal with the gatekeeper, Mara. Wisdom of the Sages 108 at gmail.com, and then she'll look you up and down and decide if you're qualified to join our club. And then you want a more exclusive club, you join the Patreon party. You go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages, and that's how you can support what we're doing if you like what we're doing. Thanks, everybody. It's great to have you guys as accountability for me in my spiritual life. I'm on top of a hill overlooking the ocean. And I got to wake up to the Bhagavatam. I'm looking. Actually, you know what we did yesterday? We played a spiritual celebrity. Spiritual celebrity. It's a great. It's like a charades game, but you can only use characters from the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, and you break into teams, and you gotta say something like for example, Kaustubha. He was born on fire. He was the brother of Draupadi.
I'm sorry.
Born
say
of
it
fire.
again?
He was born of fire, brother of
Drishtajumna.
Draupadi. Yeah, Drishtajumna. So you get that point. And you got to see how many you can get in a minute.
Okay.
Let me tell you, my son Rocco was pretty impressive. It was just boom, 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 boom.